I have one word, and that word is organize. And what we need to be doing, and what we are doing in many places, we need to organize in order to mobilize. We need to organize online, and we need to organize offline. Another word I'll give you is action. What we've learned in the last 2 and 3/4 years is that talking about things doesn't really create any energy, doesn't really create any activity, but action actually does. When I say action, what I mean is when things occur in the world, the person who steps forward to take that action can actually have an impact. And so just to give you a few examples of that, in Forest Hills, Queens, there were some swastikas that were put up in some synagogues. We called for a rally, and we invited the community. Some smaller Jewish organizations came, and we had about 200 people show up in Yellowstone Park. We had bipartisan support. We had Democrats and we had Republicans show up. And the basic message was, this shall not stand. The idea is you cannot come into our community, you cannot act in despicable ways and expect us not to have an organized response. And it was a message to our friends and foes that whenever you do these type of things, there's going to be a reaction. And from that, we got tremendous press. Channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 11, New York Post, AOL.com, AM New York, front page, it's a local subway newspaper. They all came. It was Mother's Day. They all reported on it. That's how you create some type of impact. That's how you let hundreds of thousands of people know, of what's going on. So it's about action. Another one quick example, there's this business in Brooklyn, in Park Slope, called the Co-op. Have any of you heard of it, the Co-op? So they did this BDS action where they kicked out all the Israeli businesses out of the Co-op. Our reaction to that was we called OSEM, and they donated to us 6,000 bags of bamba. And what we did was we did this thing called the Bamba Brigade. And we had 25 locations across all 5 boroughs, handing out the bamba to random people, Grand Central Station, the Co-op, Times Square, and 22 other places, with a sheet of paper explaining why BDS is bad. I can go on, we'll stop there. Those are 2 examples of not just taking things lying down, and it's about taking action in the moment. And I want to share one last hopeful point, which is this. There are things happening today that are different today than they were 2 years ago. Our enemies, we all noticed how organized they were. How immediately on October 8th, they were organized and deployed. We were not. Talk about the ABCs of Jewish life, okay? We were not able to respond. There's something new happening now, which you all should know about. It's very hopeful. Organizations like the one I'm president of, I call it a movement, not an organization, called Impact. And there's End Jew Hatred, and many others who are doing things in front of Gracie Mansion, in different locations. And so there is something happening that's new and exciting, and you should all know that it's hopeful. So thank you.
All right. So, Daniel, I know a lot of people who agree with what you just said, but who are afraid to stand up and get in line or go to the forefront. They're not like me and you. They're not like this guy Sid, who said, don't worry about mixing it up. So how do you convince the average Yid to stand up and fight back?
So there are lots of ways that you can act, right? So what I didn't get a chance to tell you is that we want to organize online and we want to organize offline. So organizing online means joining. You can join Impact, right, if you want. But basically, on social media, someone here talked about the phone being such a powerful tool. So you can do things online, and your voice can be heard. The key, though, is to have us working in a coordinated way. That's really the key online. But I would say back to that person who's kind of scared or whatever, say, look, we're in a war, okay? And if we care about our children and we care about our grandchildren, we have to recognize that and we have to act. And if you want to just put your head in the sand and not act, that's certainly your choice to do, but just understand that sometimes you have to make a decision if you're going to act or not.
Well, Daniel, maybe it's not their choice to do. Maybe it's their obligation. What about that?
I can't disagree with that today.